Welcome to The Connection Code, a podcast where we explore the relationships that make your life and work just a little bit better.
Hi, I'm Rachel Rachel. I'm the founder of 3PR. I am obsessed with food brands and helping healthy food companies thrive, but also just as fixated on connecting people and making great introductions.
And I'm Jeana Anderson Cohen, and I started a health and wellness media company that tricks adults into making friends called a Sweat Life. And I'm also working on a social gathering and event space in New Buffalo, Michigan called Petite Acres. So I'm pretty obsessed with friendship and gathering.
Should we dive into our big question for today?
Yeah, well, we were kind of texting about this one, Rachel, so it's kind of both of our big question today, right?
Yes, and really, I think we could just frame it as a topic, which is our shared disdain and frustration around connection pet peeves.
Yes. Do you want to say your well, and the thing about, okay, so Rachel and I are pretty positive people, and we both like most people, and we are understanding of most things. So we will frame all of these in a light where we will make them, yes, we're going to share our pet peeves, but we're also going to share how we can do better.
Yes, this is not just a vent session. And in fact, I'm going to throw myself, we love to kvetch. I'm going to throw myself under the bus for something that I deeply regretted and had to rectify as well. So it's all about the behavior and the learning. The first one that I wanted to bring up, which spurred this whole episode, is that I texted you for your input on a situation that I found really uncomfortable. And in broad strokes, somebody I don't really know emailed me. We've never met in real life. We're not really connected. And the very short, very to the point email essentially said, I identified these people on LinkedIn that you're connected to. Do you know them enough that you could forward them something on my behalf? This person was trying to raise some money. Now, if we want to analyze where this email perhaps went off the rails, we could start by the fact that there wasn't even a little bit of a like, hi, how are you? Something warm to set the stage, or just even acknowledging that this might be a stretch, or I hope you don't mind my asking. I think if you're going to take a huge swing and really request something of somebody you don't know, you need to start warm and a little bit self-deprecating. You need to at least acknowledge that you are really asking for something that might be slightly out of bounds or uncomfortable and just own it, which didn't happen. And then the second thing I guess that troubled me is at the end of the message, there was no, could I do something for you in return? Or I'd really appreciate this because, or more context. It was just all transaction, no relationship. Felt like, can I extract something from you? And a real lack of balance and in turn, is there anything that I could do to support your ventures? Is there anything happening in your business that I could show up for? And so I felt so used by this, and I was so baffled by it that I had to message you.
Did you end up doing it, by the way? Did you make any introductions?
I did not. Well, first of all, the three people that were named in this email, I don't know that well. Although, are you ready for irony? I can't believe I didn't tell you this.
Oh, no.
One of the people I met through you because she was at the Miraval retreat.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yes, but this person identified three people that I don't know that well. Certainly not well enough that I would forward or make an introduction for money to change hands. It just would feel out of bounds. So I wrote back to say, essentially, that unfortunately I don't know these people well enough to make this kind of connection, but I wish you the best of luck.
Yeah.
But I felt like it was such a missed opportunity. If this person really wanted to mine my network, the email could have been, hey, Rachel, we haven't been in touch in a while. If you're open to it, I would love to set up a call, tell you what I'm up to. I'm working on something really exciting. I'm hoping you might be able to connect me with some people. Fully understand if not, but if you have a few minutes, maybe we could go over it. And I'd be happy to treat you to coffee or do something in return. I mean, just be a human about it. And that really wasn't the interaction.
I would say that the thing about having fundraised, now, I think the thing about fundraising is it can strip your humanity because it's like a very obtuse sales process because you're not necessarily selling, and you are selling a thing, but you're also selling an idea. You're also selling the fact that you as a person are the right person to have the idea, and you're and you're also, so you're just at the end of the day, it can turn some people into like sales robots. For those of you at home, I did the robot as I said that. I just want you to know. I will say that the best fundraisers don't lose touch of their humanity, because it is a relationship game, and because if you're doing it right, like you should over your lifetime like have several deals to be asking people for money for, and it should feel like a delight to be asked to participate, like, and I feel like this person, the way they framed it when I saw that email, they perhaps didn't see their own value or your value, because they weren't presenting the idea at all. It was like, I need money, give me these people. It was so like interesting and transactional, and they no humanity at all was exchanged.
Yes. And I think that I really do try and fall flat, but try to be generous with my network and keep lines of communication
I don't
open and
think you
connect
fall
good
flat.
people. Well,
Yeah.
wait to hear this next story.
Okay,
But
okay.
I just thought with a couple different language choices in that email, it could have gone so
Yeah.
differently. And that was unfortunate. And I don't know this person enough to even provide that coaching, nor did I feel like it might
Yeah.
be appropriate. But I wanted to talk about this instance only because you're right. We can get myopic and think, I really want this thing. I really need this thing. And see people as almost just dominoes that you need to push forward so the next thing happens and the next thing happens. But that's not really the best and most elevated way to operate. So
Yeah.
not losing track of the relationships and the humanity and honestly basic manners and protocol would be better.
Yeah. Please and thank you.
Yes, yes.
Okay, Rachel, I know you have a fail. Give me your fail. And I'm sure it's not even that bad.
This is really embarrassing. So I want to share this to show that I too absolutely screw up. Although I just want to say that my screw up was on behalf of somebody else. I wouldn't have done this necessarily for myself.
Okay.
So when you run into people multiple times, sometimes I think, oh, you're meant to know that person. So I ran into this woman, and I'm going to make up a fake name, and I'll just call her Anna. I ran into Anna at a coffee shop, and we ended up chit-chatting in the coffee shop and realizing that our worlds overlapped through our kids and whatnot. Super nice. Then I run into Anna again at a hair salon, and we both go to the same hair salon. And so we exchanged information. We're like, we should clearly get together. Like, it's such a small world. We're off to the races. But we didn't really know each other. We just liked each other enough to exchange information and try to make plans. So I follow Anna on LinkedIn and quickly realize that Anna is super impressive, like really amazing, and was connected to somebody very notable. And I was like, good for her. That's so awesome. Like, what a cool relationship. This notable person, who I'll call X, happens to be my aunt's favorite. Like, my Aunt Carol, who I love so much, who I would do anything for, who is this supremely wonderful human being, just admires X. X is on a pedestal, like talks about it. It's a family joke. It's family lore. It's the whole thing. And I'm like, God, it's amazing that Anna knows X. So when my aunt's birthday came around, I thought, what would be more special than if X could wish my Aunt Carol a happy birthday? Like a 15-second video. Would that not just be like the best gift to her? You know what I mean? And Carol's such a wonderful, giving human being who's done so much to contribute. Like, she's excellent. So I take the swing. Excellent. She is. Like, she just oozes goodness. So I texted Anna sheepishly and acknowledged that this was a crazy long shot and a weird ask. But was there any chance through her relationship with X, he might be able to wish my aunt a happy birthday? And she wrote back something very normal in response to my absolutely insane request.
Yeah.
And like gently shut it down. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I can try, but I feel like this might be hard to do.
Yeah.
Because it was bonkers, because I had no right asking her. Like, it was one of those things that as soon as I pressed send, I'm like, what the fuck did I just do? That was such an overstep. And so then I tried to like apologize shortly after. We kind of tried to continue to make plans. I'm like, I have been blackballed. This person thinks I am totally off my rocker, understandably so. And so I have stewed about this for months, feeling so badly
Yeah.
that I did the thing that I don't like when people do it to me, even if my heart was in the right place. And just as I was still thinking about it, guess who I run into at the hair salon?
Anna.
Anna. So Anna and I are across from each other, and she doesn't see me at first. And I'm like, Anna? And she's like, hi. And I went into it. I just said, I want you to know how sorry I am. I have not been able to stop thinking about how I overstepped and put you in this strange position. And I was well-meaning, but it was not appropriate. And I just want you to know that's not how I normally operate. And I'm deeply sorry for it. And she was very gracious and very lovely. Still might think that I am crazy. But I just want to acknowledge that sometimes we all misstep and sometimes we all do things that we regret. And so even this person who sent me this email might have been having a day where, firing off messages left and right. I'm asking people
They've
that I've
got
hardly met for huge favors.
Yeah. They probably had like 5 days to close their round and they were like, ah,
Yes.
me. True or false, Rachel? You lost sleep over that Anna and X situation.
I mean, I don't know if I lost sleep, but I maybe like a little self-respect. I was like, what was I doing? It was a little out of character, perhaps, again, because I just really love my Aunt Carol and was trying to do something so memorable for her. But I guess my point is we all have our connection missteps. We all have things that we do where they might bug us when we're receiving them, and yet we too are the instigator of.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think you should feel that bad, honestly. I think it's also like a very positive trait in you, Rachel, that I see all the time, that you'll make your like drawing dotted lines all the time in your head of like the ways the people you know and love like would benefit from knowing each other. And I feel like you were just doing that for your Aunt Carol. You were just drawing that dotted line, and maybe it just was like it was a miss this time, but people say yes to you a lot. You got a lot of yeses.
Thank you for that generous interpretation of what happened. Yes. Okay, I want to switch, because that was a very long story on my end, to what you feel has been a connection pet peeve and your takeaway.
Okay, well, I always agree with your pet peeves too, by the way. I ditto that one. My first connection pet peeve is false promises. And what I mean by that is so this can apply in a lot of ways, but I think we see it a lot in the favors people are asking of each other and the connection requests that people make. And I don't know if you've ever experienced this, Rachel, where you're like, okay, I'm doing this thing and I need to be connected to this kind of person. Can you help me? And there are sort of 3 types of people in that scenario. There are the people who say yes and have a list of 10 people that they want to connect you to and do it. There are the people who say no because they don't have time, and I respect it. And there are the people who say yes and then never make good. And
yes.
Yeah, and I have been guilty of that in the past, but it was, my intentions were never to not make good. It's more like it gets put on my to-do list and then it gets pushed down and down and down. But I know now better. I know better, and I know myself, and I know my time. So like you, Rachel, like I will put in your inbox or in your text chain, X person would love to meet you. Do you have time to be introduced? And you will say, give me 2 weeks. I'm a little busy right now. Can we slow play this one? And the answer is always yes. And it's such a good boundary. I didn't always used to be great at boundaries, but I think the people who make false promises, if we're being like generous with them, I think that they are probably just busy and they say yes and they have every intention of doing it, but then they just don't.
I'm glad you brought this one up, because my first reaction was, yeah, I hate that. And then my second reaction was, ooh, I wonder when the last time I did that was.
Yeah, I've definitely done it. Because I hate it.
I've definitely done it. I think if you're a people pleaser, which I will probably be for life, your default setting is yes, almost all the time.
Yeah.
And in the moment you get excited and you think I could be of help, or I do have some intros to make, but life gets in the way. And sometimes it does move down a to-do list. And that is unfortunate. But I think by and large, if you're going to offer up somebody intros of value, and you've assured them that you're going to, it is so important to follow through.
I totally agree.
Or if you can't do it or you've changed your mind,
Set the
to
boundary.
unfortunately own it. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would rather hear from you if you said, yes, I can make these connections. I would rather hear from you telling me, actually, I got really busy. I can't help right now. Rather than just never hearing from you again. Like just tell me.
Yes. And this is a bit of a detour, but adjacent. I respected
Hmm.
this particular person because I had somebody I was working with, and she told me how she made this really amazing connection to an editor at a wedding. And I was like, oh, that's
Hmm.
such a good connection. I'd actually love to pitch that person. Would you feel comfortable introducing us? And she said, I normally would say yes to this kind of thing. I would. But I feel like I get one email with this person. I get like one post wedding ask because like it's a
Mm,
new relationship. This person's probably communicated with a lot, only has so much
yeah.
time. I hope you understand, but I want to save it. And I
Yeah.
was like, I get that. I do.
Yep.
Because if you have somebody in your network that you can go to repeatedly and it doesn't feel like the well diminishes and you're running out of water with that person, great. Like I
Hmm.
can come to you a million times and I know that we are just fine. And you can for sure do the same with me.
Yeah.
But if you made one really special connection and you felt like you had just one time you could reach out with like an ask or a request or something, I get
Hmm.
that you might want to save that for something really special. So
Yeah.
that's not an easy boundary to enact. And
Hmm.
I respected this person for saying it. And I was like, I get it. Not every contact in everybody's network is up for grabs. Some of them
Yeah.
are like break glass in case of.
Yeah. Yeah. Or like I met this person, I contact them once a year and you're not getting my annual email.
Basically, yes,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure. I think some people you have to be really discerning with so that you don't
Yeah.
tarnish the relationship by going to them too frequently.
Yeah. Okay, Rachel, I am very excited to talk about the should. Do you want to
Ah!
bring up the shoulds?
Yes. Again, I am saying this from a place of guilt as well. It's something I do, but the connection pet peeve I want to talk about next is the we should. We should grab coffee. We should have a drink. We should set up a Zoom. We should go for a walk. We should have a meeting. We should talk about this thing. We all do it because A, you might mean it in the moment and then lose
Yeah.
your steam later. Or you don't know how to get out of a conversation. It just feels like the right thing to put out there, even if you don't deeply mean it. Right. And I think everybody can say this to an extent. But if you are saying it a third time with somebody and no plans are transpiring, you're out. It's
Yeah.
three strikes at that point. I ran into somebody walking this weekend, a woman I really like, and we were talking on the sidewalk, and we're like, we should get together and go for a walk and catch up. And to both of our credit, we texted that day. We went through about 7 different dates, and we landed on a plan 6 weeks from now, which I hope that we follow through on. But that could
Yeah.
have so easily been a we should get together with a nothing afterwards. So that's why I was
Right.
really pleased that it came to fruition. But I just feel personally, and I'm curious how you feel, really fatigued by the relationships where people should you all the time and then
Yeah.
don't act on it. I'm like, don't pretend that we're going to grab coffee or grab drinks if you don't want to. It's okay. And what I think we should all train ourselves to do, me included, is say, it was so great running into you. I hope I see you again soon. Or it's been really nice to catch up. I hope
Yeah.
we cross paths in the near future. And just let it be out there that you might encounter each other again, but you don't have to pretend to do the calendar dance.
Hmm.
What do you
I
think?
gotta, I mean, agree. I hate the should, but I gotta say, like, this one I'm pretty good at because if I do not genuinely want to have a plan with someone, I will never suggest a plan. and as you were going through it, I was like, I don't think I use that as a conversation exit. Um, but I know if someone shoulds me and I do want to plan with them, I will reply with when. So and maybe if they're shoulding me to escape the conversation and I say to them, okay, I would love to. When? I'm free this date, and this date. I'm putting them in a really awkward position, but like we're gonna be friends, like it or not. We're going to have a plan. Um, so yes, I think if your parachute out of a conversation is an empty plan, like stop it.
Yes.
If yeah,
Yes.
but if
Also,
you
your
just
superpower is that you follow through.
oh
I didn't
yeah,
mean to interrupt you, but I think it's one of the things I instantly fell in love with about you is that when we met and we said we should get together, I was prepared for what normally happens, which is I have to take the ball and run with it and follow
Mhm.
up and do something because I feel like I live in the place of instigation. And you were like, let's do this. When are we getting together? And I was
Let's
like,
make a
yes.
plan.
Gina
Yes.
is not a should person. She's a will do person.
Yeah. Well, I love a calendar. I like an agenda. I like an activity. And I think that's what should takes away from you. It is and I will say I think people don't want to impose, and that's why they should you. Also, I think it's like it might be a parachute, but I also think it's like a well, I don't want to like be too pushy about a plan, which is why I think like pushy planny bitches like you and me end up making all the plans because we're like let's have an agenda. Yes?
Yes. And then to be fair, if I'm the one saying we should get together and the
Mhm.
other person actually doesn't really want to, I might be forcing their hand a little much
Yeah.
and being too quick to schedule a date. So it's a tricky situation. There's a little bit of like social niceties happening,
Yeah.
but I also feel at this stage of adulthood and this stage in our professional worlds, if you don't want to spend time with somebody, there are ways to extricate yourself that don't
Yeah.
rely upon being a really flaky person in terms of scheduling.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, Gina, what's a better way to do it? If I ran into you at a networking
Yeah.
event and we caught up for 5-10 minutes and we're having a nice chat and I want to continue it, and you're maybe not in love with that idea, and I say, we should definitely grab coffee, what would you do?
I think my instinct would be to say my my month is really busy. Like I would be like as honest as possible. I would sort of say like my month is really busy. I wouldn't should you back. Like, and I would probably just explain like my month is really busy. My priorities are X, Y, and Z right now. Let's check back in a couple of months. Because then if that person is really trying to meet with me or make a plan and they do check back in a couple months, like maybe we'll have an excellent coffee then. Like who am I to say that we wouldn't have a great coffee or a good friendship? But I have been known to give people a hurdle. I used to do this thing with a sweat life where I would get a lot of emails from people like
Mm-hmm.
requesting a coffee, requesting a meeting. And I at that point, like I had a full-time job at an agency, and I was also teaching fitness classes. So I would invite people to take my fitness classes, and then I would offer to get a coffee with them after. So I gave them the hurdle of like, come to my fitness class, and if you show up, I will get a coffee with you after that. And like some people did it, but a lot of people did not do it because then it saved me the time of having to like navigate around in my already like 80-hour a week schedule, navigate the city for a coffee with someone I only kind of want to meet with.
I love this. And I think there's nothing wrong with what I would consider a constructive hurdle. It just
Yeah.
shows that there's real desire to meet with you. And so I often feel that if somebody really wants to get together with me, and I'm in the professional sense now versus the personal,
Yeah.
and
Same.
it's going to benefit them, I think, more than me. Like they're asking for this meeting because they want
You're
something
the
more than
prize.
I'm not trying to say I'm the prize, but like it's to their
You are.
benefit to have the meeting.
Yeah.
I'm really looking for people to come my way. And I know that sounds
Yeah.
so lazy, but I have my like 2 or 3 go-to coffee shops in the area that I can get to on foot versus driving or getting in an Uber. So I think the person who wants the meeting can show their desire to follow through by coming to the person they want to meet with. And on the flip side, if I am really gunning to meet with somebody,
Yeah.
100% I'm going to show up as easily as possible for them to walk out their door and find me. And I think that's maybe an implicit rule of meetings. You go to the
Yeah.
person that you want to meet with.
Okay, so there's this thing in Italian culture. It's offro io, like it's basically like I made the plan, I pay. Is
Ooh.
the yeah. So if
Is this a
it's
rule of
essentially like
dating too?
I would assume, but it's more like if I invite you to dinner, Rachel, like I invited you, so I pay. And so like that is just like I think that should apply to these business meetings too. If I am asking you, it should be a little harder for me. Don't worry.
We have
Ben
a
has
siren going
access.
by.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Ben, siren. Um, we can isolate the audio. It's fine. But I also think it reminds us that you're in the city,
I am in the
which is
city and I
why,
am on the road to a hospital.
and all of this traffic is a challenge for getting to these coffees. But I think we can adopt. I ask. It's a little harder for me.
Yes. And then when it comes to friendship, I also think some of this is transferable in the sense that if you meet somebody and you really like them, say, I'd love to hang out with you. Jeana, I always love your approach, which is to blatantly say, I'd love to be friends. Try to be the instigator of that first plan. Let it be easy for the other person to get involved and to sort of start that friendship. But then at some point, you do want to feel as though the scales are more balanced and that you don't have to always be the driver and say, we should go out to dinner. We should do this thing. Unless those roles suit you, in which case that's just a different dynamic.
Yeah. And take the hint, like also like receive the information that is being given to you. So if you're like, and this has happened to me before too, where I've been like very gung-ho about a friendship and the other person hasn't necessarily had room in their life for me as a friend. Why? And so it's just like dating, like receive the information. Not everyone is a friendship match. Not everybody has friendship chemistry. So receive that information. It's also true in business.
Yes, that's our Lindsay Shookis, receive the data. And that's a tricky thing too, is friend chemistry, that there's an element of timing, how much bandwidth somebody has, and whether you're going to be the kind of friends that occasionally grab a coffee or go for a walk or have lunch, or you're going to be the kind of friends that are deeply embedded in each other's lives.
Off topic, Rachel, but have you ever stayed friends with an ex?
Oh, somebody I dated?
Yeah.
Like real friends where you have a relationship that continues on? Yeah. That would be a no. How about you?
Same. Never.
I think it's certainly possible. I know lots of people who, maybe not lots. I know people do it and I think it's wonderful. I think it really depends on the age of the relationship. Like, were you a teenager versus were you in your 20s? And did you have a good ending versus a traumatic ending? All of those things. This is just me. I think it's a win if you have an ex that you would not cross the street to avoid running into.
I have a similar way of saying that, but mine is if you have an ex that you genuinely wish them well.
Yes.
Yep. I wish you well. I thought
I'm
of that
there.
because
it's taken a minute, but I'm there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I thought of that because I had an ex who said something about staying friends. I remember in college, and the words out of my mouth in that moment, I'm proud of to this day. It was, I'm all good on friends. Set. Set. I do not need you as a friend.
I have enough friends.
Yeah, I'm set. I have one more pet peeve. Are you ready?
Oh, do tell.
Okay, so this one is, I think it's cultural. I think it's nobody's fault. But I will say my friendship pet peeve is not being inclusive at an event.
For sure.
So a lot of time, so like there are different dynamics at play at events. Like we talked to Lindsay Shookis about her event series, Women Work Fucking Hard, and they do a really thoughtful thing about not letting folks bring a +1, which puts everybody on a level playing field. I love that. But not every event does that. So there are some spots where people come in solo to an event, and there are some people who are coming with friends, and the people who come to an event with friends are just inherently less likely to be as open to making friends. It's like an ion, like an ion's looking for a molecule to jump onto. It just, you just got to make a molecule. But those two sort of stable molecules don't need it.
It's a social crutch. You're not going to work as hard if you have somebody there that you can just turn to and have an instant conversation.
Yeah.
So or a molecule ion.
Yeah. Thank you. Please join me in my nerd analogy. But I do think and I'm sure you've been in the position, Rachel, where you scan the room and you see people who maybe like aren't talking to anyone. You would make the effort, right?
Yes, I'm the kind of person that even if like a teacher or like a speaker asks something of a room and nobody raises their hand, I get that uncomfortable feeling as
Yeah.
though I need to raise my hand just so there's not a prolonged silence. So anybody who's in a situation that looks uncomfortable, my like alarm goes off and I'm like, how can I interject or help or do something?
Yeah.
So I hate when people are alone. I don't want to be the person that's alone either. You want
Yeah.
to be part of something. I think that one of the most beautiful skills of being inclusive in an event is if you and I were talking and we saw somebody kind of floating that didn't have a conversation going on, if we literally turned to them and said, "Hey, do you want to join us?" or like, "Come chat with us.
Mhm.
We're talking about recipes, vacations,
Yeah.
this new TV show, whatever it may be." I always think it's generous when you pull somebody into a conversation to give them the topic at hand
The
so
bump.
they can say, I love that show, or I've never seen it. Tell me more about it. Or I don't like this topic at all. I will continue on.
Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Goodbye. But you, I think, do this. Like, I think you're glue and you bring people in so that they get to feel like they stick.
Because I also have that deep discomfort. If I'm in a room and I see someone by themselves, I won't be able to move on until they have had somebody pick them up and join them into their group, into their molecule. If it's me or if it's someone else, it's going to be on my mind until I see it happen, and I will scan and watch until it does. And it honestly, it's it really perturbs me when no one does anything about it.
No, you want no wildflowers. I
Yeah.
can't remember if I asked you to be part of this experiment I did where our friend, like if we were brand new friends when I did this, but I did a real life version of this, of trying to ensure the situation didn't happen at an event I was hosting. So I hosted something called No Small Talk, which was about bringing journalists and PR people together. Did I ask you to do this? Do you remember?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I was going to have, I think, about maybe like 100 people come to this networking event. There was going to be a panel, but before the programming started, it's happy hour. It's cocktails and light bites and people milling around. And I didn't want people who came alone or who weren't totally socially comfortable to feel at odds. So I got ahead of it based on Priya Parker's book. And
Yeah.
I asked 5 friends of mine who I consider social superstars, who can talk to a wall, who are engaging, who are high energy. This is why I thought of you. And I said, will you be part of my squad? Will you get there
Mhm.
early, station yourselves each by a different high top table? And then, as people are milling around and trying to find their way, can you bring them into conversation and almost host a little table so people have someone to talk to and they feel at ease? And what was so fun is that in creating this email thread, all of my super connectors were messaging with each other then, and everybody got to know who these people were. They knew to keep an eye out for each other. They felt like they were like an ambassador committee, and that created something special and gave them a job at the event. And then in turn, I worried less about people not having a social home at the event because I'm
Yeah.
like, Abby's got this, Claire's got this. These people can do some heavy lifting.
Yeah.
And I included Danielle Robey's question everything cards on the table, which are conversation prompts, thinking if anybody wasn't sure what to say, they could use the game, pull a card, and ask each other something.
Oh, I love it. I do remember that. It was delightful. It was early in our friendship, and I was very, very pleased to have been asked.
Well, I knew your skill set immediately. I'm like, if anybody can run a table, it's Jeana.
Yeah. Jeana is deeply uncomfortable in without a job. Okay, Rachel. Anything else on friendship or connection, pet peeves or faux pas?
I think we covered some major ones, and I hope we did in a way that wasn't all completing, but also a little bit instructive. And I feel like even just listening to you, it's a reminder that we're all going to do something inadvertently sometimes that we regret, but there's room to repair and there's room to improve.
Yeah. And you can always say you're sorry. Like generally, if you feel like you've messed up, you can always say you're sorry. And most people are receptive to it.
Like while you're getting your roots colored in a hair salon and you recognize the
Absolutely.
person.
Anna.
Anna,
Yeah.
is that you? I'm
Anna?
so sorry, but I was crazy. Jeana, I want to hear about show and tell.
Show and tell. Okay, I can go first on our show and tell. So, show and tell is a time when Rachel and I bring things to each other that we think would be interesting. Our friendship is essentially show and tell. We text each other all week long, things we think the other would like. But today I brought you an article that I was sent repeatedly. And I honestly feel like this will be my legacy. The headline of the article was "Doing Almost Anything is Better with Friends."
Mm.
It was in the Washington Post. And what I love about this article, well, first and foremost, this is a thing that I have been saying at A Sweat Life for years and years and years. Everything is better with friends. And it has even been a joke on the team internally of making a list of the things that aren't better with friends. Those things include, at this point, a gynecologist appointment, not better with friends. Depends on the appointment, though. I really think there are some that could be better with friends. But that's pretty much it. There are very few things that are not better with taking a nap, not better with friends. But the article went into thousands of activities that were actually studied. It was sort of an interesting way that they studied it, and it was a couple of different data sets. But one of them was a group of college students who were texted throughout the day, asked what they were doing and their level of enjoyment, and if they were with friends. And so that's how they got such a broad set of activities. So it's thousands and thousands of activities, and only a couple of them, by the way, napping, resting was not better with friends. But most activities were better with friends. It seems to just enhance your lives. And there were things like reading is better with friends, doing your homework, doing your taxes, all of these activities were reported on as better with friends. It wasn't causal, like there was no, it was corollary data. So there's no actual causal data, but there's so much other data that shows us that doing things in groups, doing things around friends is enhancing for your mental health and well-being. So I feel like this is just another feather in the hat that everything is better with friends.
I know you have a working book title that I really love, but I do think Better with Friends could be a backup.
Yeah. I'm kind of obsessed with the new title though.
Yes, it's so good.
Rachel, I'm interested in what is your show and tell this week?
Oh, this is an example of community and connection and action that I have been so inspired by. So, on the podcast before, I've talked about my favorite neighborhood restaurant, Dear Margaret. It's run by this incredible, very close knit team that has done wonders for our neighborhood. They're so kind and generous, and they do a fantastic job of delivering great service and food and wine and the whole thing. So, I just think Dear Margaret is a true gem. And they had a fire. Did you know this?
I got your email about it.
You got my, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. I forget how many ways I communicate with you, and my low-key dementia pops up at all times.
No.
Okay. I emailed you. I posted about it. So I saw on Instagram, Lacey, who's the co-owner, had posted about this fire, and I felt so devastated for them because you know that running a restaurant, you're already on very tight margins. If anything goes wrong, it's really hard to recover. So I reached out to Lacey and I said, could I start a GoFundMe on your behalf? Because it would be really nice to fundraise.
I you started it, Rachel. Oh
I did. But only because I think it's one of those things that might feel funny to start on your own behalf.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to self-nominate for an award. You want someone to nominate you. So I was like, I will nominate. So, and I adore Lacey. So we got this GoFundMe off the ground. I want to say it's been about a week. Our goal, or the goal for them, was $25,000 to cover all of payroll. And it's at $22,000 already.
Yes. Oh, that's amazing. And so they're committed to paying their employees while they're repairing from the fire damage, right?
Yes, that's what's so amazing. They have, I think, 17 employees. They want to pay everybody. They don't want anybody to leave. They want everybody to be whole and okay. They're trying to work through what's going on. And this is a meaningful sum that I think will help the restaurant move forward. And again, just such wonderful people. But one of the takeaways that I thought was so beautiful is I've been watching the fundraising really closely. And there was somebody who donated $5, and there have been people who have donated $500. And what I feel like that speaks to is everything counts, everything matters. Just the gesture of, I believe in this and I want to support no matter the monetary amount is so meaningful and so beautiful. And without speaking for Lacey, one of the things that she's expressed is just how heartfelt it is to see the community show up on behalf of this restaurant. So at a time when there's a lot of really hard news and there's a lot of shit happening in Chicago that's just gutting, to see people rally for a small restaurant is an inspiring thing.
Well, it also speaks to the fact that community places and spaces matter, and the places where we make our memories are often in those shared third places, like restaurants. Depending on if you're religious organizations, they can be like bookstores. So like these spaces just really do matter to communities, and so I love that you're doing this for them, Rachel.
And this was not meant to be adulation for me. I just loved watching it take off.
Yeah.
I had no idea how much money would be raised, but seeing all of this transpire in about a week to me is so affirming.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, dear Margaret, we are thinking of you and Lacey. I know how tough it can be to sort of watch that stuff happen and feel a little bit helpless.
Yes. And again, thankfully no one was injured, but they're in the rebuilding process.
Oh my gosh. We hate a fire. Wait, Rachel, can you think of anything that's not better with friends?
Maybe some private bathroom time, but otherwise, like I like to shower by myself.
Yeah.
But I love companionship. I love the idea of bringing friends into everything. In my family, even we have what's called reading parties. So that means all four of us grab a book and then we all cuddle up either in bed or on the couch and everybody grabs their blanket and their book. And then we read together four different books. So I think just being able to share special activities with people you love and care about is magical.
Oh, I love that. Well, this has been another episode of The Connection Code, a podcast about friends, connections, and work, and everything in between, really. This is a production by two friends, Rachel Gilman-Rishel and Jeana Anderson Cohen. And you can follow us on Instagram or LinkedIn using our full names. And we just want to say thanks for listening to all of you. Thanks for the subscribers on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. And if you aren't subscribed yet, we'd love for you to do that. Leave us a rating and a review. And thanks to Ben Cleaver for editing this podcast.
Thanks, Ben. Bye.
Bye-bye.